Hello students and welcome to the lesson Heredity and Variation. Here we will be studying about the inherited red blood cell disease called sickle cell anemia. Genetic disorders. What are these disorders or diseases? They occur due to abnormalities in the chromosomes and mutation in genes. So, when there is a problem with the chromosomes, something abnormal happening there, and genes get mutated, suddenly it changes, you know, and this is carried on from the parent to the progeny, that is called a genetic disorder. Chromosomes in women are represented as 44 plus XX and in men as 44 plus XY. So there are 23 pairs of chromosomes present in men and in women, and women have 44 plus XX chromosome and men have 44 plus X and Y. So when there is a problem with these chromosomes, or within the chromosomes the genes get mutated, we have genetic disorders. Now, genetic disorders are of four or are classified into four different types. Chromosomal abnormalities, when there's a problem with the chromosome or chromosome are abnormal or extra or less. Then we have monogenic disorders where there is a problem with a single gene mutation. We have mitochondrial disorders, and finally we have polygenic disorders. Here we will be only studying about the monogenic disorder called sickle cell anemia. What are monogenic disorders? They are disorders occurring due to mutation in any single gene, and this mutation makes the gene a defective one. One single gene causes this problem, and therefore these disorders or diseases are called monogenic disorders. There are approximately 4,000 disorders of this type, monogenic disorders. For example, we have Hutchinson's disease, Tay-Sachs disease, night blindness, etc. See what happens when there is Hutchinson's disease. You can make out the difference. And this is a child who has Tay-Sachs disease, both monogenic disorders. The monogenic disease, sickle cell anemia. Now what happens here is that normal hemoglobin has glutamic acid as the sixth amino acid in its molecular structure. So hemoglobin has amino acids and the sixth amino acid is glutamic acid. Now sometimes this is replaced by valine. So instead of glutamic acid we have valine, and therefore now the shape and structure of the whole hemoglobin molecule changes. Erythrocytes or red blood corpuscles, which are normally biconcave, round and little having a little dent in the middle, now they become sickle shaped. When they are sickle shaped like this, then we say that the person has sickle cell anemia. Now, when the cells become sickle shaped, or when the red blood cells or erythrocytes as they are called become sickle shaped, they carry less oxygen. Their oxygen carrying capacity becomes low. Okay? And then there is clumping and destruction of the RBCs or the erythrocytes. If you can see here, these are normal red blood cells, and then they become sickle shaped, and then they clump, they come all together, and then destruction or destroying of it takes place. The blood vessels, that is the arteries and the veins, they are obstructed, and then the circulatory system, the brain, lungs, kidneys, all the important organs get damaged. Now this is what, this is the blood vessel. This is how it normally moves, the biconcave red blood corpuscles or erythrocytes. But when they are sickled, they clump together and then they block the movement of blood. And so the circulatory system, along with it, the brain, lungs, kidneys, and all the other important organs slowly get damaged. Sickle cell anemia is a hereditary disease which occurs due to changes in the genes during conception, and the child is just being formed. At that time, there could be some change in the genes and the child gets sickle cell anemia. If you can see in this picture, if the father and mother both carry the trait of sickle cell disease, then one chance is that the child could be normal. There is another chance that the child will only carry the disease, not have the disease, but there is also a chance that the child will suffer from the disease. So, if the father and mother both have this disease, the offspring are likely to suffer from this deadly disease too. Now, marriages between people who are sufferers or carriers of sickle cell anemia should be avoided. As I just told you, they should not, even if they are carriers or they are sufferers. Some only carry the trait, but some are suffering from sickle cell disease. They should not marry, another carrier or a sufferer. Now, what are the symptoms of this sickle cell anemia? Swelling of hands and legs, pain in joints, body aches, frequent colds and coughs, constant low grade fever means slight fever 100, 101, exhaustion, very tired all the time, pale face, not very healthy, and low hemoglobin content. Okay, so a person who suffers from sickle cell anemia will have swelling feet, arm and leg pains, jaundiced look, like the yellowish look, fatigue, that is tiredness, breathlessness, etc. So there are two types of people affected by sickle cell anemia. One is the carrier and one is the sufferer. So as you have learned before, no, the dominant and the recessive trait. Okay, so some people will only carry the sickle cell anemia trait, while some will be suffering from it. And if put in a Punnett square like this, we have, you see, one person who is a normal, one will be carrying the trait, second will be carrying the trait, and the fourth one will have sickle cell anemia. A and A will be the gametes of the male and the female parent. Now, sickle cell anemia occurs as follows. The symbols AA stand for normal, AS stand for carrier, the person who's carrying the disease, and SS is the sufferer. So if we have two normal people, the progeny also will be normal. If we have normal or one carrier, okay, maybe one normal person and one carrier, then there is 50% chance that the progeny or the child will be normal and 50% that the child will be a carrier. No one will be a sufferer. Then if we have normal or sufferer, all the progeny will be carriers if one person is normal and one person is a sufferer. Then AS both carriers. If both are carriers, then 25% will be normal, 25 will be sufferers, and 50% will be carriers. So there is a chance that 1 out of 4 will be a sufferer. Now, if we have one parent is a carrier and one parent is a sufferer, then 50% of the progeny will be carriers and 50% will be sufferers. And if both the parents are sufferers, then definitely all the progeny or the children will be sufferers. Now, what are the remedies? Okay, Sickle cell anemia is spread by reproduction. Okay. Therefore, husband and wife should get their blood examined before marriage. A carrier or sufferer should avoid marriage with another carrier or sufferer, because as you can see from the table below, there's every chance that the child will suffer from sickle cell anemia. A sufferer should take a folic acid or iron tablet every day. Now, how do we diagnose or come to know that we got sickle cell anemia? Okay, so there are certain tests for that. One is the solubility test, okay, which is available at all district hospitals, and another one is the electrophoresis test done at all rural and sub-district hospitals.